Ok. Înainte de toate, mă aude toată lumea bine? Super. Mulțumesc. Thanks for joining me today. Thank you for being here, where we will be discussing about the golden age of scams. Honestly, when I started this investigation, I wasn't sure if I can convince people that social media requires some significant changes. But considering with what just happened at the presidential election, I don't think I have to do a lot of convincing. So yeah, this is going to be a discussion about why online frauds can no longer be ignored and why we need a different approach in order to properly combat them. So this is going to be a talk about an investigation that I did in order to better understand what is going on, who is impacted, at what scale, and what are if the tools that are available to us right now in order to combat them, are they really working? And if not, what do we need to do in the future in order to improve the situation? And I want to focus on a few key solutions that I think are really important. I am Stefan Tita. I'm a manager and penetration tester at KPMG. Where I try in my spare time to do small investigations such as this, and also in the past year I've been trying to study smart contract security. I haven't been able to hack any multi-million-dollar contracts in order to retire, so in the meantime I'll be working at KPMG. We also write security posts on our blog, Security Cafe, and if you want to have a chat, you can always find me on LinkedIn. Okay, so what are we going to be discussing today? We're going to be talking, first of all, an introduction on how these things work, how these scams work. Then we're going to be discussing about the investigation on how I try to basically identify and report malicious domains, and then what I've observed from that, what are the key problems, and we're going to be talking about another really important subject, which is ads, the power of ads. And as I said, in the end, we're going to be discussing about some important solutions. Before we start, I wanted to basically ensure that we're all on the same level. So I wanted to discuss a few need-to-knows. First of all, what are NRDs, or newly registered domains? These are all the domains that are basically registered on the globe in every single day. So there are approximately over 200,000 domains being registered every single day. And you can tell by that large number that many of these, the majority of these, are malicious, and they're used for all kinds of malicious purposes. Only a small fraction of these are actually legitimate. So they're used for command and control, malware distribution, phishing, adverse scams, and spam. So the recommendation here for organizations would be to, if you have any equipment that does URL filtering, try to use that in order to block any domains that are newer than 60 or 90 days. That can prevent you from a lot of headaches. Another very, and I want to underline this, it's a very, very key distinction that we have to make between illegal and harmful content. We're going to be focusing on illegal content because scams are illegal content, but harmful content is basically stuff like harassment, bullying, online bullying, disinformation, and this content is not necessarily illegal. It is protected somehow by the freedom of speech. And basically what is harmful to me, it might not be harmful to you guys or vice versa. So this is basically a very gray area where it's very hard to proactively prevent harmful content. You mostly have to reactively act against it. While on the other side, illegal content such as, taking someone's money, scamming them, or, selling counterfeit products, these are more black and white. They involve a specific action that is defined as being illegal. So illegal content is definitely easier to identify and label. So if you're not handling illegal content properly, then you're most likely not going to be able to handle harmful content properly. And yeah, we also, so there are so many types of different scams, and we're just going to be focusing on investment scams that are pushed through ads on social media. So for those who are maybe not that familiar with it, even though I think a lot of you are, this is how it works. So scammers usually create some back-end infrastructure. They register a domain, they create a website, then they create social media accounts. I'm going to be mentioning Facebook a lot. They're going to be creating Facebook accounts. They're going to be creating ad campaigns. These ad campaigns and ads are pushed to the users, and if the user is falls victim and clicks the ad, they will be redirected to a scam domain, to the backend infrastructure, where if they introduce their details, they will be eventually contacted by the scammers, usually via telephone. They use spoofing usually, so it's kind of hard to track them down. So how did this whole thing start? So it started a little more than a year ago in September 2023, when my mom basically contacted me, asking me, is this thing legit? She was basically referencing a domain that she saw on Facebook, and she was legitimately interested to know if it's a legitimate one or a fake one. And it took me like 2 or 3 seconds to realize that it was fake. So I just told her, ignore it, and I reported it, and then I moved on. But the following days, she kept on buzzing me like I'm constantly seeing these things on Facebook. Like every 3 or 4 posts, I'm seeing one of these. So that basically piqued my interest. So I decided to investigate a little more. And at first sight, I saw that these are basically ads that are promoted on Facebook, YouTube, etc., and they are redirecting to malicious domains in the back end. They are targeting are obviously based on age and specific interests. That's why my mom was, constantly seeing this, but me, I wasn't seeing any ads on Facebook, malicious ads. And a very important key aspect is that they're usually impersonating a handful of brands, companies, and also public figures. Like back then, more than a year ago, the ones that are the most popular ones were these: Enel, Romgaz, Transgaz, OMV Petrom, and DG. So I tried to focus on these ones. In the past year, there have been many more. So I just wanted to mention that I only focused throughout this investigation on these specific ones. You have here an image from an ad on Facebook, but probably saw these ones yourselves. Here are a few examples of these popular investment scams that were back then, over a year ago. This one is with Romgaz, DG, OMV Petrom, and Transgaz. So these are the ones that I decided to focus mostly on, even though there are many more. So I wanted to, because there are so many ads and so many domains in the background, I wanted to, it's obviously that you can't really do manual identification and manual reporting. So I wanted to automate this process. I wanted to basically find these malicious ads and malicious domains automatically. So that's what I decided to do. I decided to basically use newly registered domains lists that are available online. I basically decided to take these domains every single day and scan all of them, parse them based on specific indicators like keywords and URL paths and stuff like that. So this was the initial idea. And that's basically what I did. I built a tool. And this tool, as I said, it parses all of these domains that are registered every single day in order to identify potentially malicious ones based on specific key indicators. I executed this tool every single day for approximately a month. This tool, for those of you who are interested, it uses pure DNS and FUF in order to identify these domains based on the indicators. Once I did find domains that were malicious, I decided to report them manually. Even though the reporting process could have been automated, I wanted to be as accurate as possible. So I decided to do everything manual here when it came to reporting. And eventually, once I reported the domains, I used a secondary tool in order to see if the domains were indeed taken down or were they still up and running. As a general idea, this tool is private. The repository is private for certain reasons, but if you want to know more, please reach out. So, as I said, I executed this for a total of a little more than a month, 38 days, using some cloud infrastructure. And I basically had to scan approximately 218,000 domains every single day, in order to look for potentially malicious domains. So what did I identify? I detected a total of, throughout this period, I detected a total of over 2,000 domains, specifically 2,040 newly registered domains that were promoting these specifically mentioned scams, like the ones that I previously mentioned. Not all of them, I didn't detect all of them, but those that I previously mentioned. This is basically over 50 domains that are registered every single day in order to promote these exact scams. And I don't know exactly how these numbers feel to you, but I personally wasn't expecting more than 1,000. Especially because when you consider it using 2,000 domains, you can create a lot of ad campaigns and you can reach a huge target. Other things that I noticed throughout this investigation is that they were using basically multiple registrars. These are companies where you can register the domains. The most popular registrar out there was Namecheap. This is an American company. And as the name suggests, it's very cheap. The domains are very cheap, and that's probably why it's very popular. You can also pay with cryptocurrencies, so that makes things easier. You can also see some of the top-level domains that I've identified throughout this investigation. The approximate cost with just by registering these 2,000 domains was around $8,000. That's just registering the domains. On top of that, they have costs with hosting the websites, running ads, purchasing SIM cards in order to perform the calls and stuff like that. Another very interesting thing we noticed was that we are not alone. So don't worry, we're not special. Romania is not special. Everybody's a target. You can see here some of the other countries that we noticed. So basically, while we were reviewing the domains, we saw pages on these domains in other languages. And one more interesting thing was that they are using a content delivery network, CDN, like Cloudflare, in order to basically deliver different type of content based on your geolocation. So if someone from Italy was accessing a website, then they would get a different result than someone from Romania accessing that same website. So that way they can basically adjust their content based on the targets. Here are a few examples of these, like this is an Italian investment page, Spanish investment page, UK, etc. There are many, many more. These are just a few examples. So after we identified them, as I said, we started reporting them. We decided to report them manually. And I tried to only send one domain a day containing all the domains that I had identified in order to avoid spam. These emails basically contain all the information that the registrar needed, like screenshots of the domains with timestamps, the companies that were affected. So basically everything that they needed in order to identify what is going on and take them down. Just after a few days, we noticed that Namecheap was kind of lacking behind, so they weren't really taking down the domains very fast. So yeah, they couldn't keep up with this amount of reports. And 1 month after I finalized the investigation, approximately 20% of these malicious domains were still up and running. So yeah, that basically gives you an idea of how well they can take these down. I think the impact here was probably noticeable on the scammer side, but it was definitely not huge enough in order to take down this operation. Some of the problems that I noticed throughout this investigation, especially when it came to registrars. So yeah, registrars, especially Namecheap, could not keep up with the huge amount of reporting that I did every single day. Some of the registrars, such as PSI USA, basically avoided responsibility. They just said, we subletted these domains to a different company, to a third party, so you have to report them there. Like, why do you even have an abuse email address if you are just going to avoid responsibility? Another significant problem is the fact that they don't have any account validation when registering a domain. So yeah, your identity is not really tied to this. So you can just create domains with anonymously. So on top of that, you have domain privacy protection, which basically hides this identity from the public. But as long as your identity is not real and account validation is not done properly, then domain privacy protection is useless. When it came to social media companies, we also tried to report the ads to social media on top of reporting the domains to registrars. And what we noticed was that even though multiple of the ads we reported were obvious scams, like deepfakes with obvious investment scams, the reports, basically we got back responses saying that this does not go against our policies. So this is, I believe this is a key example of the quality of content moderation and why it's not really enough. If they're not able to spot an obvious scam, then it's obvious that enough is not being done. And one thing that I believe is really, really, really important here is the lack of financial motivation, the lack of financial incentive that social media companies have in order to make changes on their own. And when I say lack of financial motivation, what I mean is that in order for them to actually improve this situation, they would have to basically invest more in content moderation personnel and their education. And if they do this properly and do manage to take down ads properly, they are basically eliminating a source of revenue that they have, which are these ads. So they invest more in order to reduce their sources of revenue. And that's a clear example of a lack of financial incentive for them to actually make some changes. And that's why we do need the help of authorities in order to push changes. On top of that, you have basically negative brand image, which there is none when it comes to social media companies, because usually the victims who are affected, they blame the scammers, they blame the authorities for not doing enough, and they blame the banks for not giving them their money back. But they don't usually blame social media for this. So there is no real negative brand impact. So this is the lack of financial incentive is a really important reason why we need companies agencies, local agencies to help push changes. Another section of problems is that, first of all, taking down a scam is a time-sensitive issue. So even if you manage to take down a scam very fast in 48 hours or 72 hours, that is still some time where people can get scammed. So when it comes to reporting is not really a solution by itself. It's more of a backup solution. It's a reactive solution. It's not a proactive solution. So reporting is not really a great solution for illegal content. It is, however, a good solution for harmful content. When I did this investigation over a year ago, it wasn't clear back then who is behind this. So based on this investigation, I kind of draw the conclusion that there is a criminal group behind this. Now, in the meantime, there have been other investigations, even from Recorder, the news media agency, that showed that there is a significant group behind these operations. So no consequences will lead to increased operations, and AI advancements and AI agents will definitely lead to more realistic and complex scenarios. Now, I wanted to take a moment here and talk about one of the solutions, one of the key problems that I think is like a root cause for all the other problems. And that is account validation when registering an account on social media. Account validation and identity validation is not really done properly at all. We're basically using the same model for validating accounts that we used 10 years ago or more. Even though now we have more scams, we have more spam through bots, we're still using that same model, which is obviously not working. And as I said, this is a root cause, because even if you take down scams, even if you take down spam, by reporting and banning the accounts, they can just create a new account and do the whole thing all over again. So there's an endless cycle, and there is no real consequence for this type of operation. And if we don't do something about the way how we validate the identity on social media, then I think very soon we'll have situations where we'll have social media where bots are talking to bots. And I think the presidential election that we just had was a clear example of what can be done by using bots and spam and scams, and especially ads. So yeah, if there's only one thing, if there's one thing that you remember from my presentation, please remember this: that we need to have a serious discussion about how we do account validation and identity validation on social media. Without this, I think we're just going to have more and more problems, and content moderators, unfortunately, will never be able to properly take down the increased number of content that is on these platforms. Okay, so let's move on. And I want to talk now about another very big elephant in the room, which are basically ads. ads are the reason why all of these operations are so impactful. Without ads, without the power of ads, criminals wouldn't be able to have such a huge impact. They wouldn't be able to reach tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of users. So that's why I think ads are really important and need a serious discussion. And when it comes to ads, the Digital Services Act, which is a European regulation, comes with a few solutions, especially when it comes to helping us monitor the situation. Out of curiosity, how many of you, by the show of hands, have heard about the Digital Services Act? Okay, so almost half, less than half. So yeah, I'm not going to get into details what the Digital Services Act comes with because it's a complex regulation, but it basically it's a regulation that applies to online providers like social media companies, and it basically comes with certain rules on how we need to approach illegal and harmful content. And as I said, I'm not going to go into details, but two of the things that I wanted to mention is that this regulation comes with, first of all, content moderation transparency reports. So social media companies are obligated to provide these reports, and these reports are, basically contain a lot of useful information, like how many reports have, how many ads have been taken down based on specific categories and stuff like that. But even more important than this is the public repositories that are required to exist in order to basically have a very close look on ads and monitor ads in order to basically see what are the emerging risks. So I'm talking about Meta Ad Library and Google Ads Transparency Report. These are just websites that all of you can access and look through them in order to basically see the ads that are run on social media right now. So I'm going to be focusing on Meta Ad Library. My colleague Matei Josephs already had a talk about this, and I'm going to be going into some detail here. So Meta Ad Library is just a website, as I said, that can be used in order to extract a lot of useful information, like you can extract ads for a specific region based on specific keywords. You can see how many people have viewed the ads. You can see what are the Facebook accounts that are promoting these ads. So a lot of cool information. Here's an example from Meta Ad Library. So you can see that I searched for Romania and I searched for the keyword hidroelectrica, and I got multiple results. Two of them are here. One of them is a deep fake with President Iohannis presenting a scam, a financial investment scam, and the other one is another financial investment scam with the BNR governor. So I wanted to basically showcase the power of ads. I wanted to show how easy it is to extract information from these platforms, from Meta Ad Library, and use them in order to identify potentially malicious ads. So that's basically what I did. I created a small tool, which I called Malicious Ads. And this tool basically downloads all the active ads from Meta Ad Library, and it basically tries to identify dangerous ads based on some patterns. And these patterns basically are they're very basic, like I look for Facebook accounts with very few likes and domains that are newly registered. So by combining Facebook accounts with low likes and domains that are new, you get with a very high accuracy malicious domains, dangerous domains. And these are not just investment scams, these are all kinds of malicious domains like fake online shops and data collection and misinformation and stuff like that. So I basically ran this tool for 30 days every single day to see what's going on Meta Ad Library. And basically what I saw was that throughout this period, a total of 3.2 thousand Facebook accounts, so these are Facebook accounts that are just being created again and again and again, promote over 26,000 ad campaigns, which redirect to 2.3 thousand domains, and these all amount to a total of 60 million approximate number of views. So using this example, I just wanted to showcase how you can extract useful information from Meta Ad Library. And yeah, I think it's really important. The presidential election that we just had, I think it's a better example of the importance of doing stuff like this and monitoring for stuff. And I think monitoring is extremely important, because if we're not really monitoring what's going on, then we're not going to be able to understand what is going on and take action and improve the situation. So I encourage everybody that is a security professional and works maybe for an affected company or maybe for a local agency to have a look at platforms such as Meta Ad Library and come up with ideas on how to extract information and identify potential malicious activities. And if you have any ideas, please reach out, because I'm interested. And now, let's talk about a few of the solutions that we have. So the first thing we need to do, and especially when I say we, I'm referring to the authorities, they need to go ahead and perform criminal investigations. So they need to collaborate with other foreign agencies, and they need to collaborate with companies in order to track down these criminal groups. Unfortunately, when it comes to criminal investigations, the main problem with this is that it's not a permanent or systemic change. And what I mean by that is that if you take down a criminal group, you just create a void that will sooner or later be replaced by someone else. So that's just a temporary solution that will eventually be replaced. Another thing that you can do is awareness, and this was also mentioned by my colleague Matej. The problem with awareness is that everybody is doing awareness. Everybody at least says that they're doing awareness, but the current awareness level is very low. The campaigns are very small. And in order to have an actual impact, we need larger awareness campaigns, national awareness campaigns. We need televised awareness. We need the type of awareness that you usually see on TV, which says, drink 2 liters of water a day. That's the type of awareness that is required in order to actually make a change when it comes to online scams and digital education. And this is basically the problem with this solution, is that it's a very slow process, and it's not going to solve the issue overnight. It's going to take a long, long time until we all realize what the risks are. Another solution, let's say, is reporting. As I said, I don't find this as a standalone solution. I consider it more of a backup solution because, as I said, it's a reactive measure. It's not a proactive measure. It's a good solution with harmful content, but it's not a good solution with illegal content. With illegal content, you ideally want to be proactive and prevent these ads from ever being on social media. So yeah, reporting, unfortunately, is not great, and especially when you have thousands of ads and thousands of domains, you're not going to be able to do a good job, even though you increase your content moderation capabilities. And last but not least, I think we need authorities to, as I said, monitor for malicious activity using platforms such as Meta Ad Library. They need to collaborate with social media, and they need to enforce proper ad content moderation before ads are pushed to the platform and are pushed to the users. And not just that, there are many other solutions, but in order to actually come up with solutions, you have to monitor and understand what is going on. So as I said, the previous solution with having a better account validation procedure, that is definitely another great solution. And we need, as I said, we need help from authorities when it comes to this, because there is a lack of financial incentive for social media companies to improve by themselves. And if they don't improve by themselves, sooner or later, we will just have social media become an enabler for malicious activity. I think they're already enablers, but that level will just go up and up and up. So yeah, we definitely need help when it comes to authorities from this point of view. And this solution, from my point of view, I think it could lead to relatively fast results, and it can have a more systemic change, because you're actually changing the system, you're actually changing social media behavior. I'm not saying that this is an easy solution, but this is definitely an ongoing solution that needs to be present all the time. And I encourage all of you who are interested in this topic and have ideas or maybe information on how we can improve this, to please reach out, and maybe we can have some impact together. Here is a graphical representation of these solutions if you want more visual representation. So yeah, criminal investigation, larger awareness campaigns, monitoring and enforcing efficient reporting, and proper ad moderation. Now, I didn't want to end the presentation here because I feel like it's very negative, and we're not really ending the whole presentation on a positive note. So in the end, I wanted to talk about a very, very, very big misconception that is affecting a relatively large part of the population. And that misconception is that the world is not getting better. The world is not improving, or the world used to be better a while back, which is just not true. The world is constantly getting better, and I know it feels hard sometimes, especially with all the bad news that we see on TV. We have this feeling that, oh, there's so much bad stuff going on, and there's more and more bad stuff going on. But the reality is that the reason why there's so much bad stuff going on is because reporting and journalism has become more efficient in the past decade or so on monitoring everything that is going on and reporting every bad thing that is going on. So even though we see more bad stuff, that doesn't mean that more bad stuff is actually going on. And in order to see the improvements that are happening, we have to look at a few statistics. And I've shown here a few statistics that I think are really relatively important when it comes to quality of life and improvements. And some of them are child mortality, which is a great indicator for the quality of life. The population of living under poverty, which has been constantly going down over the past 2 decades. Expectation of life, which is currently at 74, and these are around the world, not just in Romania, not just in the developed world, and other things like access to medicine, access to education. There are a lot of statistics that show that clear improvement is happening. And I wanted to reference a book here, which is called Factfulness. This book helped me personally gain a more positive view on what's going on and become a little more positive, because yes, it is normal to feel negative with everything that is going on. So I definitely recommend give this book a read if you want to become a little more positive on what is actually going on. But just because things are improving, that doesn't mean that they're not bad at the same time. They can be improving and bad. They can be improving and not improving at the same pace everywhere. And when it comes to online frauds and scams, we still have a lot to do in order to improve the situation. I wanted to show here a report from the FBI's Cybercrime Center, which shows that in the past 5 years, there has been an increase in online fraud activities. So yeah, this is a clear example that we still need to do a lot more in order to improve the situation. I hope that some of the information that I presented here helped you better understand what is going on, and that we need to do more in order to improve the situation and what should be done in order to improve the situation. And I don't think we need to be pessimistic about this. I think we have all the reasons to feel optimistic that if we collaborate and if we put our minds together, we can make the digital world a better place. With that said, I want to thank everyone for joining me, listening, and participating. And I want to wish you a great day here at the conference. Thank you very much. And my favorite part, question time.
Hello. First of all, congratulations for your initiative. It's well received.
Thank you.
The question that I have is, did you try approaching the affected companies or also the DNSC, and what was their response?
Sorry, can you speak a little louder?
Yeah, I'll try again. So, did you try to approach the affected companies or the DNSC, and what were their response in reaction with the ads?
I didn't contact the affected companies. Pretty sure that they were very, very aware of this because they are getting calls from these investors which were getting scammed. So they are very aware of what's going on. I somehow got in contact with some specific agencies that are investigating things, and I hope we can make some changes together. If we want, we can talk more about this afterwards. So yeah.
Thank you. The question is because I work for one of the companies and I was not aware for this.
Okay. Cool.
Thank you for your presentation. It was great. I might have some ideas and solutions how to make impact. So I'm gonna talk to you later.
Cool.
But how did you evaluate the newly registered domains to claim that they are actually scams? Did you use regex or?
Yeah, as I said, I used some specific strings and URL paths and stuff like that. I don't want to get deeply into it. If you want, we can talk more afterwards. But yeah, I did something like that.
And did you try to report it to some DNS security vendors to make immediate impact on resolvers?
No, I didn't. Good idea. Yeah. That would have been an additional thing. So yeah, I just wanted to focus on contacting registrars and see what is going on there. But yeah, definitely registrars need to be somehow better monitored in order to do a proper job here. But it's the same thing. If you have so many domains that are constantly being created, I think content moderation of domains will never be always properly done. So yeah, it's a losing battle when it comes to this.
Yeah, and last really quick question, was the data source CertStream newly issued certificates for the domains?
Did I issue certificates?
No. If the data source you used for the for the evaluation if it was
Yes.
newly issued certificates for domains, the CER stream?
No, I didn't. I didn't look at specific certificates or anything like that. No, that's not one of the things that I noticed. I used some very basic things, and it worked out pretty well. So I was I was focused on, because when you scan so many domains, you kind of want to do least work possible, because you're just adding more to the scanning. It was noisy anyway, because I got some messages from somebody that I was making too much noise. So yeah, any additional noise wouldn't have been very well done. That's pretty much it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Thank you, and a great presentation. Just have one quick question. One of your mentioned solutions was like going more into the account validation side and identity check. I just wanted you to ask, have you seen any cases in which the accounts that were promoting these malicious ads weren't new and were in fact stolen accounts of greater pages that had hundreds of thousands of followers or millions of followers, which are in fact...
Yeah, I'm aware that things like this happen, but no, I didn't look specifically for this. So yeah, both for the previous question and for this one, there are a lot of things that you can add on this, but it's just so much, and I try to focus on something and try to look at that thing specifically. So yes, I didn't look at these types of big accounts or anything like that.
Got it. Thank you.
No problem. Yeah, thanks.
Hi. You mentioned Meta API calls and Google. Under this regulation, EU regulation, DSA, does TikTok also complies, or?
Everyone, it applies to all online providers, not just social media, any online website and stuff like that. There are different rules based on each one of them, but everyone is affected. So like even EMAG and these types of platforms, they're also online providers, so they also need to comply with stuff like this.
And does they do it, or it's already in place?
Yes, it's already in place. It has been in place since the beginning of this year for everybody. Since last year, it has been in place for big companies, and starting this year, it is applied to everybody. So yes.
Thank you.
It's one of the big, let's say, regulations, along with the Digital Markets Act, the AI Act, the DORA, NIS-2. Probably you're familiar with some of these. Yeah, so it's a significant regulation that affects a lot of companies.
Thank you.
Okay.
You gave a very good example at the beginning with your mom asking you if a domain was legit or not. How can we teach our parents to spot those scams?
I think this is the talk that Matei did cover this subject a little better. Yeah, it's...
Because they don't have the technical knowledge.
Yeah, I think it's just awareness. You can't really do anything about this other than awareness. You have to constantly, push bigger, larger awareness campaigns, and we need to encourage this idea of being very skeptical of things when it comes to social media. If you don't go forward with the idea of skepticism, then you're probably going to be a victim sooner or later. But yeah, when it comes to awareness, I'm not an expert in this. It's just that the current awareness that we're doing, I know that banks are doing awareness. I know that there are a lot of companies that are doing awareness, but the level, even the NSC and stuff like that, but the level is not impactful enough to have a real reach. And yeah, people who get their information from TikTok will probably not be reached by this awareness properly. So yeah, I don't have a clear solution for how we can educate our parents other than talk to them and make them aware that these things are happening. But I'm not really here to make a large-scale awareness. This presentation wasn't really for the general public. This was for security professionals in order to better understand what is going on, what needs to happen. Yes, awareness is part of that.
Thank you.
No problem.
Hi, thanks for a great presentation. I know that in the beginning of your investigation, you used to frequently check the police announcement to see if someone was investigated or caught. Did you see something in the end related to this activity?
No, I know that, you know, it is a significant, as I said, it was covered by Recorder, so it is a relatively known issue, and yes, it is most likely investigated, but unfortunately there is no takedown. There is no identified criminal group for this yet. Okay.
So I saw that you implement a solution, a practical solution with that type of program, but as we know, a lot of total security suites have inside an advisors for spam. So your solution could be integrated in some antivirus solution for advising, not to be catched by those scammers.
I'm not sure I understood the question.
So as an antivirus could advise you that some sites are a scam.
Yeah.
Your solution could be embedded in some antiviruses to advise you that this type of ads is a scam.
No, this type of what I did could. You know, it's very hard. So if the criminals change their behavior, this would most likely be obsolete. So what I did was specific for this point in time and for this. From what I observed, but if they change the way that they do their operation, they will most likely be able to not be detected. So this is not necessarily my solution. That's why I didn't even make it public, the repository, because it's not really a long-term solution. If you want a long-term solution, I would recommend reviewing Meta Ad Library and trying to extract data from there. I think that is much more efficient in identifying potentially malicious stuff than my tool. My tool was just specific for this type of thing that can change and make it obsolete. So that's pretty much it. Okay.
Well, what is your thought on campaign sponsored by either the government or a private company in which they organize a scam, a controlled scam, and after you enter some sensitive data, for example your credit card, they push a message and said you almost got scammed, watch out next time, watch out for these indicators, watch out for the website, watch out for, I don't know, some information that would reveal that it was a scam. Do you think it would have a positive impact or a negative one?
It's very hard to tell, especially because one of the behaviors, like there are certain trends and there are periods where certain activities are present, then they change and they do something else. And currently, for example, I noticed that the actual scammers that they're conducting some new scams where they are notifying the people that got scammed. Like, did you get scammed? We have a solution for you, and they scam you again. So it's okay, but this will. I'm not sure if that is a great solution. Especially because the scammers can actually use that solution and transform it into a scam themselves. You know, they can scam you twice by using something like that. I'm not sure. Yeah, it's definitely a solution, but as I said, scammers can turn that and use it against you and scam you twice. And I personally know that this is happening, so they're using this right now. So yeah, it's a solution, but it's probably not the best one. Okay, thanks a lot for the questions, and have a great day here at the conference.